New revelations are being made this week on Kamen Rider Gavv, along with the return of BITTER GAVV. So the episode pretty much picks up straight from the one before, as they tend to do, where we see the backstory between Shouma and Hanto's mother. Turns out they did actually meet each other once. Back when Shouma was just a boy and Hanto's mother was captured, she broke out. They were all being kind of kept in some sort of weird coma, but she somehow broke out. And when she found Shouma running around, as he usually was, because, you know, he technically lived there, she thought that he had been kidnapped as well. So she took him back to where she was being kept and was like, is this your mother? Is this your father? Are these your parents? So of course he's like, no, what are you talking about? Until Lango shows up and he's like, pass my brother over. And she's like, oh my God, he's one of them. This is awful. And that's where we see that he basically gets her thrown into like this vat of like what I assume is some sort of like granite acid, where she like simultaneously drowns and disintegrates, and I assumably is turned into one of those jelly cubes. But it's the moment where Shouma and Hanto are like finally discussing after they kind of, you know, I mean, now a couple of episodes ago we didn't half sucker punch him and they weren't really on speaking terms. They've just defeated BITTER GAVV and now they're finally getting to talk about it. Of course, Shouma is very apologetic. He's very sad about the fact that this is information he's held, even though he didn't quite know that he had this information. He was kind of locked away in his memory. Plus, he wouldn't have known it was Hanto's mother anyway, so it's not really his fault. Of course, him keeping the fact that he's a granite a secret was, and it all kind of comes sort of full circle in that moment where Hanto just says, look, I know it wasn't your fault. He kind of forgives him, but then he's like, I don't want to see your face right now. And then, that's understandable, I'm not gonna lie. So Hanto goes back to Suga's little base, and we basically, he explains everything that's been going on. He explains that BITTER GAVV isn't actually Shouma, but is instead some sort of clone. And then we also see a new set of Gochizos being gifted to Hanto. Now, these are the Chocodan ones, but they're completely black, which usually entails that there's a bit more to them. Either, I can't imagine he's going to be looking exactly how he does on a normal. Maybe it's a dark chocolate form. Maybe it's a bit more of an emo form. I don't know. We also get to see Shouma finally being able to explain the Gochizos and his Gavv to Sachika. But see, this is why I love, and why we love Sachika, right? She's obviously like, she doesn't know how to process it. She's like, this is insane and you're awful for keeping this from us and you're a monster, but also is like, how can I help make this work? You know, she's interested, along with sort of like, not disgusted by him, but at the concept that he was hiding this. And then she's just like, look, if candy's what you need, candy's what I'll give you. And she gives him a bunch of snacks. And it's just why she's a queen. You love to see her. You know, this business that she has, it's always been about helping people. There was no way she was going to turn on Shouma. Let's be real. Given the sweets, it was a nice moment. In this episode, we also get Shouma introducing Lakia to his it's his great uncle, grand uncle to Dante, basically. And whilst they're there, they're kind of trying to work out what happened with the whole BITTER GAVV situation, and we basically get a bit more information on Shouma's grandfather. So back in the day, Dante and Shouma's grandfather used to make sweets. You know, they'd maybe venture into another world, obviously the human world. They find out what sugar was and stuff like that, and they'd create candies. But the trouble is, the Granutes got too obsessed with this, overly so. And it became more of a thing that they wanted more, they needed more, and that's when it became, if anything, too corporate. And then Dante was like, okay, I'm going to step away from this. But he was in the process of making the modifications for Shouma, so he was kind of like, I'm just going to put my attention on this rather than carrying on to make these candies, which we obviously know end up being like the dark treats that all the Granutes not only eat, but like live for. Now, early in the episode, we see Hanto meeting up with an old friend of his, and they're having a conversation, and they basically bring up the monsters and the fact that Hanto isn't a Kamen Rider, but is trying to hunt down these monsters. And the guy serving them just looks at him dead straight, moves away, and then starts saying something, somebody like working in the kitchen. And that's when he goes up to Hanto's mate and he's like, if you can get this guy to me, I will pay you. And the friend just agrees. The friend who at the start of the episode was like, you know, we haven't seen each other in a while. It's been a while, I missed you. It's just like, yeah, for money, I'll hand him in. So later in the episode, Hanto is out and about, and he gets a phone call from the same friend saying, there's a monster, I've just found one, which obviously we know very likely a trap. But at the same time, we see the clone BITTER GAVV Shouma show up. And of course, it's like, he was defeated last episode. That's what they believe as well. Turns out, well, maybe I'm jumping ahead. He doesn't know. Does he sort out the evil Shouma that's currently flipping a guy around in a car, or does he go help his friend who's being attacked by a monster, right? Luckily, Vram and Gavv, Shouma and Lakia, they show up. Hanto's gone. Hanto's gone to help his friend. We then learn that Bitter Gavv isn't one Shouma clone. There is just a bunch. So in my mind, it was like, they've defeated him, but they haven't really defeated him. No, they did defeat the last one, but there's more, which is an insane revelation. We don't really know how. I assume we're going to find out more in the coming episodes. It doesn't matter anyway, because Lakia straight away, he's ramming up. Shouma does the same. There's a fight. Now, can I just say, because I haven't done a video since before Bitter Gavv, I love the look of the suit. I love the Bitter Gavv suit. I think it just is so peak. And I know I'm a dark color guy, but I really like the suit. So they're fighting away, and they don't overpower him realistically, but it gets to a point where like Bitter Gavv's like, right, I'm just gonna cause a bit of destruction because I clearly can't beat these guys, and he does so. But he does seemingly get a lot stronger, and they pick up on that. They're like, he's a lot stronger than the last one. Is that a like sort of an effect of the recycling of Bitter Gavv? Like, is each one gonna be stronger because they've learnt the weaknesses of the last one, or are they all just, I don't know, do you know what I mean? It's interesting. I didn't expect the curveball of there being a bunch of them, to be fair, if I'm being honest. But anyway, Bitter Gavv starts retreating. He spawns his own quad bike and he's off. Shouma does the same thing, jumps on it. They start racing through the streets before the little Gotchasaur pops in and eats the screen, meaning the episode was over. I wanted more. I don't know if it's because the pacing was really good in this episode or if it was really bad, but I felt like it was over way too quick. And maybe I was just enjoying myself too much. But the episode ended way too quickly, in my opinion, and we're left waiting until next week, which is fine because, you know, next week will come. That was an interesting episode. We know of Hanto that's kind of started a separate little arc with his other friend, who I assume maybe that'll get tied up straight away in the next episode. Maybe that'll go on for a bit longer. The fact that we know that these Bitter Gavvs and these clones of Shouma are going to keep evolving, potentially, is quite scary to think about, especially since they've given him such a run for their money so far up until this point, and they've only really been in like 2.5 episodes. And something I forgot to mention about Sachika earlier as well is that she basically, obviously, the clone Shouma has been spotted and taken photos of, and therefore the good Shouma is being like spotted and going, you're that idiot, you're that awful person. So she kind of posts saying like, this guy is causing a lot of trouble for people who look like this guy. Obviously a direct nod to like, yeah, just so you know, my friend isn't this guy, but also I suppose, you know, there are probably other people in the world getting accused of being that guy because they have the same haircut or something. I don't know, but it was like this sort of like subtle heroic move that she just did, just to be like, hey, this guy's awful, but like, let's not beat up everybody who looks like this guy because, you know, and it was obviously just like, yeah, he's a clone of my best mate, but I can't say that, so I'll just be subtle about it. I don't know, man. Things are getting tense. Like I said, the constant repowering recreations of Bitter Gavv could lead anywhere. I do hope that we get some upgraded versions. I wonder if they're gonna be given, like, I wonder if Bitter Gavv will get like a bit of marshmallow, a bit of chips type form, like just alternate forms of Shouma's forms, or if he'll get different forms altogether. Be interested to see. I'm also interested to see what these new chocolate Gotchasaurs are gonna be doing. Are they just the same thing but like manufactured by Suga, or are they going to look completely different? I'm thoroughly enjoying Kamen Rider Gavv at the moment. I did a video on it, I think 2 to 3 weeks ago. I really hope, because fun fact, I kind of fell off with Gavv. I had to do a big catch up. Obviously now I am finally caught up. I really hope that we get to see Sachika as a Kamen Rider. Is it essential for the show? No. Is it essential for me? Yes, pretty much. I honestly don't think it's ending here. We have 4 riders now. We have Shouma, we have Hanto, we have Lakia, and we have the Bitter Gavv, and we don't know where that's gonna go. Maybe by the end of the show, the Bitter Gavv. Maybe the Bitter Gavvs are only gonna be for the like second arc or whatever. Or are we still in the first arc right now? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm very interested to find out what you think about the entire situation with Bitter Gavv, but also just Kamen Rider Gavv in general. I look forward to next week's episode because we are going to be getting the Sorbet Sparkle, whatever it's called, that new form, and it looks cool. Blizzard Sorbet, that's what it is, the Blizzard Sorbet form. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know, I like that we're just getting upgrades upon the form rather than just like new suits left, right, and center. I like that whatever it eats just becomes a new version, or at least like a new like add-on to the suit. But I suppose that's old news. He's been doing that since like episode 1 and 2, so you know. Huge thank you and shout out to Sarah Jane, our Super Dino Mode Patreon.